It's time for the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen joined by Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. Panthers back from San Marcos, Texas, and big win in the back pocket there. 41-19, great win and a record-setting day for Georgia State. We can run down all the records. 41 points up on the scoreboard, not a record. 643 total yards of offense. Nick Arbuckle, a record-setting day. 471 yards passing. And Robert Davis, 5 catches, 177 yards. I'm sure I'm leaving a record out, but it was that kind of a day, and we took control of this football game right from the get-go.
It was a great day for our program. Our young men played well in all phases of the game, special teams, offense and defense. It was fun to see those young men being able to be relaxed in the fourth quarter and smiling and having fun, and everybody played, and it was just one of those days that you're very excited about the direction of the program and where they're going, and there's going to be more to come.
You had stressed with me on the radio pregame show about starting strong, finishing strong. First play was a Arbuckle pass to Robert Davis, I believe 44 yards right down the middle of the field. A play later, we're in the end zone up 7-3. We started strong.
Started fast, and we continued that in the second half. We started with a deep ball to Robert again.
Right.
So our kids played from start to finish, and it was a thorough game for them, and it's just showing where we can go with this program and what they're capable of, and now we've got to be more consistent with it. And that's part of the process, that when you're building a program, that you see what we can do, and now they see it, and hopefully that we can continue to do it consistently. There's been some falls, unexplained falls on the way there, but that's what happens when you're building, not rebuilding, but building, and it's fun to see them, and especially when they have success and they're able to go out and get a road victory that way. And now we got to learn to do it at home.
Real good balance, I thought, between passing the football and running the football. It was good news earlier in the week when you got Taz Bateman and Kyler Neal back with the guys that we already had carrying the ball. But again, 471 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. We've talked so much about how well our receivers have played this year, and he just carved up Texas State defensively, especially the secondary, with some outstanding passes to Robert and Penny Hart, Donovan Harden, even Todd Boyd.
And with a great, all the great job that Nick has done, there was no sacks allowed in that game.
Yeah.
You threw it that many times and no sacks, and so that's showing you how our offensive line is improving each week, getting better and better and better, and being able to run the football for 173 yards. It's really an exciting thing to see, and defensively, I thought we played outstanding. I know they scored 19, but they scored with 3 seconds to go in the game, with their first team against some of our third team guys, and
right.
We still expect to hold them and shut them out in the second half, but you cannot complain about the way our defense has played, and it's getting better every game also.
Again, focusing in on the running game, 3 runs of 20-plus yards. I know you were happy to have Taz Bateman. He hadn't played since New Mexico State, and to get Kyler back and run him with Glenn Smith and DeMarcus Kirk, and even Nick, who I love to see run the football, had a nice 24-yard run.
Yeah, and Marquand Green ran extremely well.
Yeah.
So now it's and nobody's a senior. We'll have all of them back. So it's an exciting thing to see, and now you're starting to see the benefits of the 3 years in recruiting and building the program, and again, we couldn't be more happy for these young men because of the type of kids they are. They very easily could have came out after the Louisiana Lafayette loss and felt sorry for themselves and been in a really struggle in this last game, but their resolve, they came out and they were determined to win and proved to everybody we're continuing to get better, and they did it, and I'm very pleased for them.
I know at this time of the season, probably any time of the season, you're not really concerned with rankings, but you gave me a ranking on the call-in show this week. Georgia State's defense, #1 in FBS, most improved defense against the run. You got to love that.
We love it. We take great pride in that, and to show our young men, the improvements that they're making as we go. It's just a wonderful feeling. And how great is it to be in our third year here, 6 years of football, and we're playing in a game that matters in late November.
Right.
You know, this game really matters for both teams. So we're in a game that counts in late November, and that's where you want to be, playing your best football.
I know you told me you're going to try to practice a little bit more during the week with 2 upcoming home games at the Georgia Dome. Try to get in there and kind of create a little bit more of a feeling of ownership of the Georgia Dome as being our home field. But once again, we go on the road and play an outstanding game.
It's a chance for our young men to come together. We get a chance to stay in a hotel together, and we come together, and you know, we feel like it's us against everybody else, and they respond extremely well. So we've got to get them to respond that way at home, and they will. And I guarantee you that this game against South Alabama, they'll play well. It's not like they didn't play well against I used to call them Southwest Louisiana, which was what they were when, you know, and then they changed the name to Louisiana Lafayette. But we played well that game.
Yeah, we did.
You know, and we just didn't get the result we wanted at the end. But if we can continue to play well at home, we will start winning games at home, and then you've really got something special.
All right, well, Georgia State coming up, going to take on, in this next home game, we've got South Alabama coming in. We'll talk a little bit about them here coming up, but as well as this Georgia State football team playing again to go out and put 41 points up on the board. You know, we've never worried about this team scoring points, you know, for most of the season. Once we get them, go out there and put another 41 up on the scoreboard.
Well, that's the plan. Plan to score more than that, but you know, we'll have a battle. South Alabama is extremely talented and well coached. They've got a lot of really good-looking athletes, and they can run. They're physical up front, and offensively, they've got, you know, a lot of UAB transfers, and they'll have some young men that can really go at the receiver position, at the tight end. Their tight end's an NFL guy. Their quarterback was the starting quarterback at UAB last year. One of their offensive linemen. They've got a back that can really run. So we've got a lot to really be prepared for, get prepared for, and we'll have a stiff challenge. So, you know, we wouldn't like it any other way.
All right, again, and we'll talk to Coach a little bit more in our next segment about the upcoming game in the Georgia Dome as they take on the Jaguars of South Alabama. Again, 41-19 the final score, a win over Texas State and San Marcos. Time now to take a look at some of those game highlights.
The Texas State Bobcats host the Georgia State Panthers. It's Sun Belt Conference football as both teams look for a strong finish to the regular season. This is going to be a good matchup for us.
Somebody is going to go home very disappointed this afternoon.
Starts with the passing attack of Nick Arbuckle. This guy can really sling it. Fires it deep, and it is complete. What a catch.
When it comes to the passing game, Nick Arbuckle has 3 incredible wide receivers to throw.
Donovan Harden. Arbuckle looking. An easy touchdown for Donovan Harden. Robert Davis slides right, fires over the middle, wide open. And a touchdown for the Georgia State Panthers. Penny Hart, look at that explosion. Second in the nation in receiving yards, third in receptions, fourth in touchdowns.
It was almost like they knew that play was coming. They brought that blitz right to the play side, right into the quarterback's face. This group from Georgia State has tons of explosive plays in this first half.
Touchdown for the Georgia State Panthers, Taz Bateman. Tyler Neal dives. Wow. He's got the first down. Jones, quick pass out to the right. Defense ready for that one. This is a nice run up the middle. Quality yardage still on the pressure. Jones in trouble here. Here's the kick, but no good. Arbuckle steps up in the pocket.
The defensive backs had their backs turned, and the quarterback took advantage of what they gave him right here.
You can see how good Nick Arbuckle is and looking at different options. Arbuckle back to pass. Lofts it up. Throws a great deep ball. And it bobbled and caught. Looks right, fires right. Nice catch, Penny Hart. Arbuckle throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Donovan Harden.
One-on-one, they're just having fun. They're catching the ball and shaking and baking the defenders.
Arbuckle, double receivers right. Looking deep for Davis, makes a great catch inside the 20.
I mean, just the talent across the board. I mean, they have guys that can run, that can catch, that can block, and they're just a complete team.
Again, those are the highlights from Georgia State's trip to San Marcos. Again, a record-setting day, and Panthers now as they get ready, they're 3-6, 2-3 in the Sun Belt, trying to get in the mix there in the middle of the league. And you got another, as you were calling it, a cat fight. You get South Alabama coming in, and this is going to be the fifth meeting all time, I should say, between Georgia State and South Alabama. And you get them at home this time, and they're coming in having won 2 in a row, and they scored 50-something and 30-something their last 2 ball games. I got a chance to watch some of that Louisiana Lafayette win last week.
Yeah, they're doing well. Again, they're a very talented football team. You know, they're 3-2 in the conference. We're 2-3. We're right in the middle of the conference. We've got 5 teams below us and 5 teams ahead of us. So, we have an opportunity to close that gap with the teams above us and leapfrog South Alabama and be in the top 4. And we're really excited about the game. We've got to keep our kids preparing like they've been preparing the last, this season. So, as long as we come in and play our best game, we'll have a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
Coach, personnel-wise, you were mentioning a few of their key players that we'll see in the Dome on Saturday. Pretty good running back, Xavier Johnson, back-to-back 100-plus yard rushing games. They've got a pretty good quarterback in Cody Clements. As far as a 1-2 punch, which I seem to say that every week with these Sun Belt teams.
I don't know names, I know numbers. Quarterback 7 is a good player. He can run and throw. Their back is explosive, extremely explosive. Number 28. Number 12 is a guy that we better know where he's at when we're on the field on defense all the time. He's the guy that's really clicking for them and they're trying to get the ball to. He's a transfer in from UAB. Then they've got a couple receivers that transferred in from UAB that are very talented. So, we'll have our hands full with those guys, containing them. But we've got to get pressure on the quarterback and set an edge on runs and not give up explosive plays. When you look at when we've played our best on defense, we've limited the other teams to very few explosive plays, if any. Mm-hmm. So that's the key, is keeping it in front of you and making them earn it and drive it down the field. And it's a very hard thing for a lot of teams to do.
Well, defensively, as we've talked about the last two games, you've done a great job defensively against top-of-the-line Sun Belt running backs. Elijah McGuire a couple weeks ago with the Louisiana Lafayette here, and then Robert Lowe last week. Neither one of them really hurt us at all.
Yeah, and the New Mexico State game with Rose.
Larry Rose.
They did a really good job. So, it's there. I think Coach Minner and his staff doing a great job, and our players. The hats off to the players because they're the ones out there doing it, and they're lining up. They're trusting each other. They're getting in the right gaps. They're learning that you don't have to be Superman and make every play. Sometimes it's okay to get the assist and, just set an edge and make it cut back to all the pursuit. So, they're learning as we go. You're seeing a program develop right before your eyes, and you're getting to see the good side of it with the victories. And now it's time to do it consistently, and that's our whole goal.
Let me ask you, with our running game, again, the good news getting both Taz and Kyler back, from a planning standpoint, how do you decide who's going to get all these carries?
Well, we try to play to each kid's strength, and there's certain things that we're trying to do with Taz and that we're doing different with DeMarcus and Kyler and Glenn. But I've never rotated 4 tailbacks before. I mean, in 29 years of coaching, it's very difficult to rotate 4 tailbacks and 5 if you add Marquand Green in there.
And it's like at Texas State, Robert Lowe, I don't think he came out of the game.
Yeah, so I think our offensive staff doing a great job of utilizing each player's talents and getting them in different situations to benefit the offense.
All right, Coach, you ready for some questions?
Sure.
All right, time now for our weekly segment, and these are questions from fans. It's time for questions for Coach Trent Miles.
Hi, I'm Ikeria Maynor, and I'm a film and video and psychology major. So, Coach, I heard you like to cook, and Thanksgiving is around the corner. What do you plan on cooking for the family?
What I'm in charge of cooking, and when I take great pride in cooking, is I do the stuffing. My wife handles all the pies and the potatoes and the greens and all that. I get the turkeys, and I did say turkeys, and I do the stuffing. And I'll do 2 different types of stuffing, and I'll do 3 different turkeys. I'll do a deep fried turkey, I'll do a smoked turkey, and I'll do a turkey in the oven, the old-fashioned way. And I season them all differently, and they taste phenomenal.
Hi, my name is Asia Miner. I'm a film and video major. In the spirit of the holidays, do you ever entertain players who can't go home for the holidays?
In every holiday, we have our house open for our players. There's a lot of them that can't go home, and there's some that on short holidays they decide not to go home. So we usually have somewhere between 20 and 30, and I've had up to 50 guys in the house at one time, and we'll have them over. Usually it's Easter, sometime around that. If they're around in the 4th of July, or if we're around on the 4th of July, they're usually gone for Christmas, but it's definitely Thanksgiving. So any holiday and any time we can get them over for an occasional meal, we love to have them.
My name is Marissa Ottaviano, and I'm a film major. So, Coach, what's your favorite holiday and why?
My favorite holiday, it's probably a tie between 3 of them, to be honest with you. I love Thanksgiving because of it's in the fall. It's football time. I love the food and the family getting together and just being thankful. And I love Christmas, and Easter is huge in our family. Easter is always a day that we have the Easter egg hunt. We usually do it with the players and have everybody over for dinner, and we'll do all types of ham and turkey. But those 3 are probably tied with me is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter.
All right, Coach, good questions this week. Very festive questions.
Yes,
unlike
I
what
love
we
it.
get in sometimes when we get questions.
I
off
love the
street.
cooking questions. That's my release.
All right, well, appreciate you coming in, and best of luck Saturday in the Georgia Dome. Let's get a win over South Alabama.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll talk to Coach again in studio here coming up in a couple of weeks. Well, right now we're going to turn it over to Callie Mann. If you've been to a Georgia State football game at the Dome, men's or women's basketball game at the Sports, or even a baseball game or softball out at Panthersville, no doubt you've seen the Blue Man. And our Callie Mann catches up with one of the greatest fans in Georgia State athletics. He's the Blue Man.
Georgia State University is growing faster than ever, so that opens up the opportunity for students to make their mark in the sports world. So, who's the most iconic fan at GSU? Well, his name is Daniel, but you might know him as the Blue Man. So tell me how you decided to become Blue Man.
Well, it all started when I got a morph suit, dress up for my sister's Halloween party, and I had gone to a few football games before, and I had fun, but I wasn't really getting into it, and it didn't help that the team wasn't very good anyway. But after I got home from a game, my brother was shocked that I didn't decide to wear the suit to the game once, and so I figured, okay, the school lacked in the crazy costumed freaks, so to speak.
Right.
The fans that really deck out for their team.
So you felt like you were filling that void.
Yes, it was a void that needed to be filled. There had to be someone there who would cheer the teams on week in and week out. So I decided to wear the blue suit for a day, and I went. I had a really good time. A lot of people liked it too. They wanted to pose for photos with me and all. And we got blown out, but I didn't care. I had a great time.
You've graduated.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for the Blue Man? Are you still going to be going to the games? Is someone going to take the torch from you?
I've been hoping for someone to take the torch from me. The plan was to wear it for my duration in school. If there was someone else crazy enough to fill the void, to dress up crazy,
Right.
then they can take over.
So tell me what it feels like when you put on the Blue Man costume.
It's like I'm in a different zone. It's like I'm a different person. And it's like I am the Blue Man. You know, I never pay attention to what the crowd thinks. I usually focus on the game, but from what I discern, they really enjoy when I really get into the game.
So how has Blue Man affected your life today?
Well, I'm a lot more happier than where I was before. I have a couple jobs with athletics. I'm a part-time PA announcer with them. And they've also given me a job as a player participation tracker, where I track who participates in the games and on Saturdays. It's good. I'm really thankful that they've given me the opportunity. I hope to stay with them long term and help out as long as I can.
So Daniel, can you show me how to be Blue Man?
Absolutely.
Being Blue Man is not just about the suit, but the accessories. Add shorts, a cape, scarf, socks, and arm sleeves. It's a start to becoming Blue Man, but you can't just look like him, you've got to move like him too.
Now watch me whip, now watch me nay-nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, watch me nay-nay.
GSU, do the stanky leg, do the stanky leg.
Let's go State, let's go State.
All right.
Watch me, okay, okay.
While no one has yet continued the tradition of Blue Man, Daniel is hopeful, saying that maybe one day he'll put on the suit one more time before putting it away for good. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Callie. And we change our tune right now. We're talking soccer, and we welcome into the studio Brett Surensey, the head coach of the men's soccer team, just back from Boone, North Carolina, advancing into the Sun Belt Championship. Congrats. You didn't get the result you wanted, but in the end, a pretty good season. I mean, you reached the championship in the Sun Belt Conference. So you got to be pleased and proud of your guys for that accomplishment.
Yeah, one step further than we were last year. I think when you look at the youth of the team this year too, there's definitely a lot of positives. The future is bright and the foundation is very secure moving forward. But it's a tough pill to swallow. We thought we were very good right now. So not getting the result we wanted to, which was ultimately the conference championship, is still a little sour. That happened on Sunday, and it's still close. But we'll move on from it and be better for it and use the experience moving down the road.
Well, late in the season, some good and some bad. You closed out the season with 3 consecutive wins, UNC Asheville, Howard, and a win or a penalty kick win over Georgia Southern. And, that gives you a little momentum going in to the Sun Belt tournament and then ultimately the championship game.
Yeah, we did finish strong. We traveled a lot this year, so I think the last couple games, getting back home and then going to finish the regular season at Georgia Southern before going into the conference tournament was big. The guys were put on a good brand and were able to get the job done in the last couple games, and I definitely think that pushed us into the conference tournament to have the success that we did, and we made things interesting once we got there.
All right, so it's an interesting situation, and you see this in some conferences sometimes. Hartwick, which is up in upstate New York,
right?
Their only Division I sport is men's soccer. Everything else, they're Division III. Talk a little bit about their situation. You don't see it that much, but you see it.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. Ton of tradition. Hartwick's been to, I think, the Final Four 7 times. Now I think this is their 25th NCAA Division I tournament appearance. So, I think they used to be Division I in everything, and because of the tradition and the success of the men's soccer program, they didn't want to drop them down to Division III. So it's very unique. It's a small place. When you go up there, we traveled there this year, and not your typical prototype when you think of a Division I school, but obviously have been ultra successful in soccer, and unfortunately this year that continues.
All right, and I'll ask you a few questions about the actual championship game in a moment. On the positive side, as you were telling me, a 5-4 penalty kick win over Georgia Southern, and then you beat them in the final regular season match 5-3.
Correct. So, we made both those games really interesting. We actually knew going into the final regular season game against Georgia Southern that we were going to play them again in the first on the semifinals of the conference tournament. So we went down 2-0 in the first game and were able to come back and win 5-3. And then we decided we would take it one step further and go down 3-0 in the conference tournament. And we were able to battle back from that and eventually win in penalty kicks. So we kept the rivalry exciting.
All right, and a little bit now about the championship game, because this sounds like it was a crazy game. They got up early with a goal, 5.5 minutes in. But the thing that stuck out, 26 total fouls, 13 on each team. Georgia State, I don't know what was going on, 7 yellow cards and 1 red card, which cost you a player.
Yeah, the refereeing was interesting, to say the least. There were some game-changing calls that seemingly didn't go for us. But yeah, a lot of that was just being competitive, I think. The guys on both sides were competing very hard, and as you would expect for a championship game and the opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. So, as many fouls as there were and the yellow cards that were produced, it wasn't a malicious game by any means. We were certainly unfortunate to have the red card and virtually play down a man for 50 minutes. But, I tell you what, the pride that I walked away from the field on that day with the last 50 minutes and the energy and the effort that our guys put into the game, playing a man down is some of the best moments I've had as a coach, to be honest with you. So in terms of moving forward, we can hold on to that, and the guys returning will be able to share those experiences, and I think it'll be better for us in the future.
As you said, one step further than you were able to get a year ago. You've only got 5 seniors on this team. What's the outlook and with what you're bringing in and with the guys returning? I mean, now that they have a little bit of that experience, a little bit of the taste of what it's like, to reach the pinnacle that they reached this year. Obviously, it's everybody's goal. They want to get back again next year and finish the job.
I think there was just enough success this year to, one, be really positive about the future, but two, really yearn for more. And anytime you get to a championship game and you don't get that desired result, it sticks with you for a while. And I think as a coaching staff, that's definitely something that we can use as motivators as we go into the spring. But, you look at our team, for the majority of the year, we started 5 to 6 freshmen and 1 to 2 sophomores. So, those seniors that we lose are certainly influential, and we will miss them. But, the guys that we're able to gain experience as young players will only benefit them moving forward. And it'll be our jobs as coaches to continue to push them and get them to improve, and to bring players in here that will fight and make things competitive. So it's exciting. It's disappointing right now, but once we get over that, we'll know that moving forward we've got a great nucleus, a great foundation, and Georgia State men's soccer is definitely thriving.
All right, Brett, appreciate you coming in. Congrats on what turned out to be a great season. A little short of where you wanted to finish, but you got there. But, overall, you'll look back a great season.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dave.
All right, I want to thank Brett Sorensen, men's soccer coach here at Georgia State. And right now we're going to take a look at what's coming up here on the horizon for Georgia State athletics as we take a look at the upcoming schedule of what's coming up this week in Georgia State athletics. Coming up on Saturday, November the 21st, Georgia State football back in the Georgia Dome, going to take on the Jaguars of South Alabama. Kickoff set for 2 p.m. Also, Saturday night, women's basketball in the sports arena, Morehead State. That'll tip off at 7 p.m. On Friday, November the 27th, we've got Georgia State football again in the Georgia Dome, going to host the Trojans of Troy University. Kickoff again at 2 p.m. And then Friday, November 27th, that night at 7 p.m., men's basketball in the Georgia State Sports Arena as they take on IUPUI. And that's what's coming up in Georgia State athletics. Well, that'll do it for this week's show. I want to thank Coach Miles as well as Brett Sorensen, the men's soccer coach, coming in and joining us. Just a quick reminder, we've got Georgia State football in the Georgia Dome on Saturday. They take on the Jaguars of South Alabama. That'll be a 2 o'clock kick, 1:30 on the radio if you're with us with our Georgia Lottery Panther pregame show. Quick reminder as well, we have no show next week because of the holiday, and that reminds me to wish all of our Panther fans watching us today a very happy Thanksgiving. We're glad you're with us, and we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks right here on the Georgia State Sports Update.